welcome back. It seems that January is a prime time to change jobs or your career. Some people decided that this would be their New Year's resolution. But do you know where to begin? And have you really thought it through? What's your motivation to move on? So join me now to talk about this and answer all the questions are Alan Kearns from Workopolis.com and Jeremy Miller from LEAPJob.com, both .coms. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
So last year, the economy was in recession. People were losing their jobs. First of all, what is the deal now?
Is
it better?
It's getting better. Over the last 3 months, we saw in the job market gains of full-time permanent positions. So last month we had 79,000 new jobs, and the unemployment rate decreased. So it is getting better, and I think people are being more positive about the futures for 2010.
Those 79,000, are those good jobs?
Yeah, they were in the service sector. They were across different industries. They were across the country. Every province except for, I believe, New Brunswick did well last month. So yeah, we're in the right direction.
So Alan, what's going on with employers? Is it an employee market?
Well, I think for sure that there is growth in the market, and you're seeing employers are moving forward cautiously, and I think this is what you're seeing, that they're being selective. They're growing, but they're being careful about who they hire and where they go from here. On the other side, you tend to see, as you see, that candidates were maybe, let's say, 18 months ago were ready to move, right? But then they held off through this past year. And so you get this sort of lag, which you had mentioned earlier when we were in the getting prepared about. You're seeing really, really strong activity where people are ready to go, right? And so we have a survey at CareerJoy.com. If you go to our survey on LinkedIn, we have 80% of people are thinking about a move in 2010, and part of that's thinking about it. So not everyone's going to make a move.
But are you saying there's been a pent-up demand to move, but people are worried about moving because of the economy, but now we're on in better shape?
Well, I think there's a sense of fear. Economies are based on fear and greed. Right?
More things than the economy, Alan.
Right? So we were moving out of what I call the fear cycle to the greed cycle, to the move forward. I want to get more, right?
Right.
And so I think what happens is inherently, as people feel like, we've kind of gone through the worst. I've been ready to leave. I was ready to leave last January. Now I'm going to start to be proactive and start to reach out and get my resume done or do some work or reach out to the market. That said, I still think that the market the market's not like thriving with hiring. It's starting to get momentum and starting to gather. And I think as the year goes, you'll see more and more momentum.
And Jeremy, your company is called LEAPJob.
Yeah.
I mean, is that leaping from job to job?
Leaping forward.
Are you getting a lot more people coming out in the last few weeks since Christmas, since New Year's?
We see this every year. It's a spike as of January 1. The number of applications we get every year just simply spikes.
And to what do you ascribe that? Is that because they were holding back? They didn't want to slip the apple cart in December? What's going on?
Well, I think, one, a lot of hiring doesn't happen in December. Employers after the 15th really sit down and hibernate and wait till the new year. But two, it's that New Year's resolution. You think about change, so you go out and see what your options are, and you start applying to jobs. What we see is the big hiring months in the year tend to be February and October. So a lot of plans and activity starts in September and January. So right now, people are thinking about it and going out, but more importantly, the jobs are out there right now. So when you apply, the employers are calling you back and saying, I'd love you to come in for an interview.
So that's a great sign for Canada. It's a great indicator.
Well, if you look at Canada, it's done really well. I mean, I was talking about somebody today, about one of our clients, talking about what a strong economy we really do have relative to what's going on in the world. And I think we have a very diverse economy. I still think there's a reality of globalization and all the changes that are going to be occurring longer term. But I think for the high potential professionals, well educated, it's a great place to be. Now, for the lower end of the market, for manufacturers, for people doing call center, it's still going to be, it's going to be tougher and tougher and tougher. And I think this is where you're sort of seeing segmenting, where you're seeing the higher end professional, the people with skills, technology skills, sales skills, engineering skills, whatever. Their careers are going to get stronger and stronger. But the lower end of the market, the bottom half, I'm concerned for them.
Okay, so people watching and listening, if they have the skills, it's no longer desperate. In other words, if you have the skills, there's going to be someone who can either finance you or hire you. And if you don't have the skills, you better get them. Is that it, Jeremy?
I think you need the education. I think the other thing to recognize is women have done better in the last year than men have. What was really interesting is, as you looked at the labor reports month after month through 2009, that women were having gains. So as of November, we had the same, women had the same level of employment as they did in October 2008.
So what do you ascribe that? Like, why is that?
Well, I mean, if you look at even statistics on a lot of the professional designations, like 57% of all lawyers now are women that are graduating. Like, if you look at a lot of the professional programs, it's actually, there's a much more weighted towards women. And it's just, I think, the migration of the firming up of women really coming into their zone and the opportunities that many women professionals now have. So.
It's also where the jobs are. They were largely coming out of the service sectors where the growth has been, whereas manufacturing, construction are predominantly male jobs. And so where the employers were hiring was where women tend to do better.
Alan and Jeremy, I'm glad you've been here tonight because it's a very optimistic future. I know you don't wear rose-colored glasses, so thanks very much for giving us the real goods. Yeah, I only do that, but not the lens, it's just the frames. Okay, it's time for our final break.